Hey everybody, my name's Aaron McDonald and you're watching Private Parts. Today we're going to be discussing a few movies which are streaming, which you can actually access and watch now. The first of which is Pinocchio 964. This is a Japanese film from '91. It's directed by Shozen Fukui. He was the assistant director on Tetsuo, the Iron Man, and you can totally tell from this movie. It's insane. It's really high energy, really bizarre, really visceral. A lot of the Japanese stuff is like a super out there, and this is definitely part of that tradition. It is about, I mean, they call it a sex bot or a cyborg. It seems kind of more like it seems organic to me. Like whatever it is, it's a pleasure being that gets discarded and gets its memory erased, and we kind of open on on that happening, and then it's kind of wandering in the streets, and then it's kind of adopted by this outsider, I guess. This lady who's kind of, I'm really not sure what she's doing. She's mapping out the city and people watching, essentially right out of the gate. And she totally dials in on this other being that she can kind of, I think she kind of sees that it's another outsider, and once you see Pinocchio 964, you'll kind of understand why he's he's totally bald, but he has this bleach blonde. I don't know. He looks like part of the Lollipop Gang, kind of. It's this unicorn horn of hair, but he's like he doesn't even have ability to communicate at the beginning of this movie. So she kind of takes him home and tries to nurse him back to health, and slowly, like, she's trying to teach him how to communicate and feed him and keep him engaged, and slowly his memory starts to like come back to him, and they have this meeting. Well, they kiss, and I think it's implied that they have sex, but after that, kind of everything changes for I think her name is Hikamo, and I don't know if she's altered by his chemistry or something, but she, like, everything changes at this point. And I mean, it's been weird up until this point, but it really hits maximum speed right here. There's an homage to Possession, to a Johnny's kind of expelling her subway scene. It's the most famous scene in the movie. And there's a scene similar to that in this film that is next level. I mean, the possession scene will always be a classic, but this is a whole different ball game in this film. And there's the scientists who created this bot are kind of after it, so to silence it or to fix it or to, essentially they've decided to kill it. And so you have them to contend with, and plus this relationship between Hikamo and Pinocchio 694. There's this bit about maraschino cherries that has a great payoff in the end. But it's all kind of full tilt boogie. I mean, it's all like camera angles right in your face, and a lot of kind of shaky. If you've seen Tetsuo, the Iron Man, it's all kind of very similar. It's all, I mean, Tetsuo is like an assault on your senses, from your ears to your eyes to, I mean, it affects the way you feel. and this is very, very similar. Um, I feel like they just like went into some downtown Japanese city and just stole a bunch of shots. There are shots where they're walking through subways, or Pinocchio at one point is kind of running. At one point, it's like this 10-minute montage of him. He's like dragging the steel weight behind him, running through the middle of a city, and some people are looking at him like it's everyday business, and some people are just like, "What the hell is going on here?" So it makes me feel like they're just like running and gunning this whole production. But it was, I mean, it's definitely a movie that is to be like it's an experience. And as luck would have it, it's on Tubi right now. So if you're looking for something that's kind of more avant-garde, a little more cultish, it's not. I wouldn't say it's super horror, but it is. It's definitely, I would classify it as a cult picture for sure. I will say that it's wholly unique, and it's totally worth checking out. The second movie I'm going to talk about is The Sentinel, Michael Winner's The Sentinel. This is actually streaming on Netflix right now. It's spooky season, so I may try and get another episode out before before Halloween. But if you haven't seen this Sentinel, it's totally worth checking out. So Michael Winner is the director who did all of the Death Wish movies. So based on that, you know you may kind of feel if you are in and out of this movie just solely based on that, which I understand. I love the Death Wish movies. The Burbs is like my favorite movie of all time. It was one of the first movies that I ever went to the theater to see. And so in that movie, Corey Feldman's talking about the Sentinel. And he's talking about this apartment that's kind of like the gateway to hell. So Christina Rains is a model in New York, and she's looking for a place to live, and she finds this brownstone, this super nice brownstone. And even for then, I feel like it was a reasonable cost. And so she moves into this building, and at the top of this building, there's you see a blind priest that's always staring out the window, and some untoward things happen to her while she lives in this building. It's got Burgess Meredith, who plays one of her neighbors, and there's a pretty classic scene of a cat birthday party for Burgess Meredith's cat. A lot of fun has been made at the expense of the cat birthday party. I think it's so bizarre that it fits perfectly, but it's a silly conceit. I'll give you that. Sylvia Miles and Beverly D'Angelo, a young Beverly D'Angelo, are these really kind of outrageous lesbians who are always wearing leotards and like. The first time I'd ever seen this was I worked at a video store. I worked at Victor Video for a long time, and this happened to be. I mean, we didn't have a huge selection of movies, but this was part of the movies that we had, and so I had always wanted to see it from the Burbs. And so I came home and I watched it, and Beverly D'Angelo has a scene in it that is permanently burned into my mind. I was like 13 or 14 at the time, so it left quite an impression on me. And you'll know the scene as soon as you see it. It is cuckoo bananas, as is the parlance of our time. But along with all this kind of really weird, bizarre stuff, there are essentially, it is about a haunted building, and there are some really creepy jump scares. The makeup effects are amazing in this. She has a lot of flashbacks to. I mean, there's a sleaze factor to this movie that could only be done in the 80s, well, the 70s or 80s, and that can only be achieved by Michael Winner. But it's a really, really, really cool movie, and totally worth checking out. And if you have Netflix, like 90% of humanity does, then what do you have to lose? An hour maybe. If you're not entertained by this film, I don't know. I don't know what to do with you. It's got Chris Sarandon plays a major role. Chris Sarandon was Jerry Dandridge from Fright Night. He's like the main vampire in the original Fright Night. He's been in a million things. He's in this. A young Jeff Goldblum is in it. It's got a plethora of cool actors and really, really bizarre performances. So if you have time, definitely check it out. The next movie I'm going to talk about is Spider Labyrinth, which I talked about on the last episode. I got it as part of the Severance sale, and I had heard about it for a long time. I think I heard about it on Shockwaves from either Elric Kane or Rebecca McKendry. But this is an Italian horror movie. And I'm just going to read the back real quick, the synopsis. When an American professor is sent to Budapest to complete a mysterious research project, he'll become ensnared in a mind-bending web of sexual provocation, occult carnage, and arachnidian havoc. Arachnidian havoc. Did you catch that? Arachnidian havoc. Roland Wybega, William Berger, and Stephanie Andura star in this invaluable contribution to 80s Italian horror. An invaluable contribution to 80s Italian horror. Sorry, I forgot how to read. And did I ever really know how to read in the first place? Nobody knows. But anyhow, so this professor goes to Budapest. He's called away because he says something absurd like ancient Oriental language or writings or something. And so he goes to Budapest and to chop it up with this professor and kind of converge on their findings. And he's sent there by a kind of cabal of businessmen and religious people. And he gets there and he does get ensnared in Arachnidian havoc. So the first 20 minutes of this movie first 40 minutes of this movie are perfectly serviceable. Not really giallo, but kind of like a murder mystery. There's some cool things, like you kind of see some unusual supernatural things, but it's kind of right down the middle Italian horror. Nothing too crazy, nothing too it's more extreme than Murder, She Wrote, but not as extreme as the New York Ripper. Then the last 20 minutes of this movie is a box of dynamite. It really starts to pick up the pace as you kind of start to put the pieces together and find out what's going on. And then the last 10 minutes of the movie are an explosive box of nitroglycerin. It's totally unhinged. It's super cool. There's some like it is all worth. It's totally worth it. Like everything up until that point. Like I wasn't super. I wasn't super taken with it, but in the last 10 minutes of this movie, I thought this is totally a movie that I'm happy to have in my collection, and I'll show to anybody who's into kind of Italian horror or horror in general. This movie is turned out to be a real banger, as the kids say. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about today, because I know that you freakazoids all think that all I watch is horror movies. In honor of Tony Goldwyn, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite performances. He was just recently in One Battle After Another, plays kind of a pivotal part. So we're going to be talking about a young Tony Goldwyn alongside of a young Christian Slater in one of the greatest movies of all time, Kuffs. Okay, Kuffs is about this kid, George Kuffs. He's a slacker. He's a shiftless layabout, and his brother is I guess he's the sheriff, or he's like kind of I don't know. He's the head of a police force in this township in northern and kind of central California, somewhere near San Fran, and he gets gunned down by one Mr. Leon Rippey. If you know, you know. Leon Rippey's a terrific character actor, and so George Kuffs decides he's going to solve the case and take over his brother's responsibility as being the law in this township. His girlfriend is Mila Jovovich, and she kind of reveals that she's pregnant at the beginning of the movie. So George Kuffs, this kind of slacker, has got all these responsibilities building up on him. So part of his probational provision is Tony Goldwyn, who's this very straight edge, very by the book police officer, has to be his partner. And hijinks ensue. This movie is hilarious. This has been a big part of my. It's not a great movie. I'm sure if a lot of people are going to watch this and be like, what is this? It's just a really goofy. Christian Slater is breaking the fourth wall almost the whole movie. And he's it's just kind of like a surreal. There's like some really surreal stuff, but some really, really serious stuff in here too. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. This movie is just a classic, and it should be seen by everyone. So go watch it now. So that's that. So that's all we're going to be. So that's the show. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you like it. If you see John, my brother from, just my brother. He's not from a different mother. I mean, he is. But if you see John anywhere, kick him in the huevos and tell him that, that we need to do this together again. And in the meantime, you guys enjoy your movie watching. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to let us know in the comments or on Facebook or whatever. We're always open to suggestions, and yeah, we'll see you we'll see you at the movies. No, we will see you in the funny papers. No, fuck it. We'll just see ya.